The steepest road on Route 66, Sitgreaves Pass, and the hidden fishbowl spring. If you've followed this channel for a while, you know we love the rugged, lesser-known stretches of historic Route 66, and today, we're driving one of the wildest of them all. We're heading west out of Kingman, Arizona, climbing into the Black Mountains along what was once considered the most dangerous road on the entire Mother Road, Sitgreaves Pass. And tucked along those cliffs is a little spot most travelers unknowingly cruise right past, a tiny hidden oasis known as the Fishbowl Spring. So, let's get out of the noise of Kingman's trains and traffic, hit the road, and see what stories the mountains have for us. Kingman, gateway to the Black Mountains. We're beginning at the Route 66 Visitor Center in Kingman, a great starting point for any Route 66 adventure. If you ever come here on a holiday weekend, the parking lot feels like a classic car show mixed with a family reunion. But we're heading out early before the heat and crowds get too heavy. Our goal today is the 28-mile stretch between Kingman and Oatman, a portion of highway that has existed in one form or another since the 1850s, long before anyone dreamed of neon signs or road trip postcards. The road before Route 66. Long before it carried tourists and migrants westward, this rugged trail was carved across the mountains by Edward Beale, the same Beale who famously experimented with using camels as pack animals in the desert. His crew followed ancient native footpaths to create the first wagon route over the Black Mountains. The name Sitgreaves Pass came a bit later, honoring Army officer Lorenzo Sitgreaves, who explored rivers across the Southwest. But while the pass mattered in the 1800s, it nearly faded out of use, until Route 66 was designated in 1926. And here's the funny part. Sitgreaves Pass only became part of Route 66 because business owners in Oatman lobbied hard to make sure the new highway crossed their little mining town. Their insistence kept the road in the mountains instead of the easier path south, which, of course, became Interstate 40 decades later. Good for Oatman. Tough for the travelers. Cool Springs, a desert outpost, returns. Before we even climb the steep grade, we come across one of Route 66's most photogenic stops, Cool Springs. If you're expecting a quiet roadside shack, you'll be surprised. This stone-front gas station has had multiple lives. Built in the 1930s as an outpost for motorists grinding their way over the pass. Thrived during World War II era traffic. Declined after the new road bypassed it in 1952. Burned to the ground in the 1960s. Briefly rebuilt and blown up again, literally, for a 1991 action movie. Restored beautifully in the early 2000s. It's the kind of comeback story Route 66 is famous for. But we're only getting started. Ed's Camp, the gateway to the grade. Just past Cool Springs sits Ed's Camp, an old roadside homestead from the early auto travel days. You can't stop there now, it's private property, but it marks an important point. This is where the climb begins. And it begins fast. Sitgreaves Pass contains the steepest sustained grade on all of historic Route 66, topping out around 12%. In early automobiles, many of which relied on gravity-fed fuel systems, drivers sometimes had to go up the mountain in reverse to keep fuel flowing to the carburetor. Imagine cresting a winding cliffside road backwards, praying the engine didn't sputter out. The hidden fishbowl spring. Most drivers tense up on the curves and miss this spot entirely. A short stone staircase built into the cliff. Up those steps is the quirky little feature known as Schaefer's Fishbowl Spring, a natural seat boxed in with concrete sometime in the early 20th century. Nobody knows much about the builder, Schaefer, or exactly when the structure appeared, but locals have kept the tradition alive by stocking the pool with tiny goldfish. The fish eat the algae stays under control, and the wildlife, burros, bighorn sheep, coyotes, get a clean water source in an otherwise harsh landscape. And the view from this hidden ledge? Incredible. You can see the ribbon of Route 66 curling down the canyon like a dropped piece of silver string. The summit, Sitgreaves Pass. At 3,550 feet, we reach the summit of the pass. The view from the pavement is modest, but just a quarter mile west is a turnout that has evolved into a kind of unofficial memorial. Hikers, travelers, and families have left plaques, crosses, medals, and mementos here for decades. Some scatter ashes. Some carve names. Some leave things only they understand. From this point you can see 3 states at once: Arizona, Nevada, and California, and you can feel the weight of stories stretching all the way back to the Dust Bowl. John Steinbeck described these mountains as the bones of the land. Standing here today, he might say the same. Gold Road, a town that vanished. Descending the west side of the pass, we come to the ruins of Gold Road, a mining town that sprang up around a gold strike in the 1890s. When the mine shut down in 1942, the town died almost overnight. Bits of stone foundations and wooden beams cling to the canyon walls, ghostly reminders of how quickly fortunes rose and fell in these mountains. On one hairpin curve, an old photograph was taken that became a famous Route 66 postcard. From the same spot today, the scene looks nearly unchanged, except the cars are faster and the road is paved. Burros on the road. And of course, it wouldn't be a drive to Oatman without the wild burros. Descendants of miners' pack animals, they roam the hills freely and descend into town looking for handouts. Today, a few of them are already lining the road, as if welcoming us to the end of the journey. Oatman, the finish line. As we roll into Oatman, crowds fill the narrow street, shops are buzzing, and the mountains loom behind everything like an old Western movie set. It's hard to believe that just miles back, the road was nearly empty, quiet enough to hear the wind whistling across the cliffs and the echo of tires on the curves. That's Sitgreaves Pass. The steepest, wildest, and in many ways, most unforgettable stretch of old Route 66.